Good morning. Dave DeBerardinis here. This is Monday Mindset. Here we are, Monday. And you can apply this to any business that you're in. Now, this may seem initially a little backwards from a lot of the Monday mindsets, because a lot of times I hear that, these are really motivational and they're really inspirational. And this one might sound counterintuitive when you first hear it. But I want you just to kind of listen to this and get a sense of what I'm saying. So one of the things that I noticed in working with literally thousands of people is it's not what we are that holds us back. It's what we think we're not. I'll say that again. It's not what we are that holds us back. It's what we think we're not. And what does that mean? Most of the time when we talk with people in this industry, probably 95% of the time, the conversation starts with them saying what they didn't do, or what they're not good at, or that they should have done this or that, right? And so we live in this perpetual thing of not enough. We live from a sense of, even though we may have these massive goals of what we want to hit, we actually live, if we look inside, from this place of, yeah, but I want that, but I don't actually see or envision myself being that. Because we spend most of our time thinking we're not enough, we can't, I don't know enough, or the big one, and it could just be a general fear, right? In this industry, you definitely come face to face with whatever your fears are. And usually they're around the acceptance of other people. And so what we do here and how we actually make money is to directly reach out to people. Think how funny this is. Reach out to people and put ourselves out there, and knowing that we could be told no, or that feeling of, right? Or they don't accept me, and somehow turn that or twist that into, do they love me? Do they accept me? Do they, that kind of a thing. So here's a thought. Instead of the old way of, I'll just read my goals, I'll get up and I'll say something, I'll be passionate, and I'll, whatever it takes. It's something we used to do with Dell Carnegie, but to help get the class started, the first half and then the beginning of the second half, we would do these things. We'd make everybody stand up, and it's, to want to be enthusiastic, you have to act enthusiastic. And we would do this process, so it built and built and built. And so in our society, we're actually trained to not look at what's not working, but because that's a problem we have, right? And just focus on where we want to get to. Here's what I'd have you consider this morning. Just be with whatever's bothering you, whatever that fear is. Instead of fighting it, instead of trying to push it down one more time, because you already know that doesn't work long term, why don't you let it just be okay that it's there? Just let it be okay. I've related this story once before, a few times. If you haven't heard it, great. If you have heard it, my apologies. But back when I was about 7, 8 years old, as a young kid, I was scared of dogs. And I'd gotten bitten twice. And I remember one day at our house there in Atlanta, I am running down the road, and there's this dog chasing me. The faster I ran, the faster he ran. The more I screamed, the louder he barked. And I kept running and running because I knew this dog was going to bite me. And so I kept running and moving away and ignoring, and notice the analogies here, but ignoring that which was scaring me, and running as fast as I could in a physical sense to get away, right? I must have ran, it felt like forever. It's probably only 10 houses or so right down the street. And I finally got to the point that I knew I couldn't outrun them. And so I decided to stop. And when I stopped and turned around and I put my hand out and I said, go ahead, bite me, the dog put his head down and walked away. So what I'd have you consider this morning is to just be with that fear you might have of picking up the phone, of following up, of making an offer to someone else about joining your business or trying your product. What if you just became okay with that level of fear being there and just brought it with you instead of running? And right now, after I related that story and I'm talking about this, I just noticed my intensity about what I'm running from and what's not working, and I should be this more, and has now dropped down a couple of levels. And so the more you allow yourself to be with whatever that's coming up in that moment, the one thing you are being that is the most attractive thing for someone else to join you is you're being authentic. Enrolling a lot of people in this industry is not about pitching the loudest, screaming the loudest, talking how great your product is, or you're going to make $1 million if you come work with me. It has more to do with you being authentic. And one of the fastest ways to be and to notice your authenticity is to just be with what you have been running from and what that fear is. And the more you sit with it, the more you notice it, the faster it goes away. There was a great quote to wrap this up with. I heard originally from Deepak Chopra years ago. It was actually from Franz Kafka. And here's how he described it. He said, "You don't need to leave your room. Just remain sitting at your table and listen. You don't even need to listen. Simply wait. Be quiet, still, and solitary. The world will freely offer itself to you to be unmasked. It has no choice. It will roll in ecstasy at your feet." What has us running from something is the piece that's in between where you are and your success. So this morning and this week, I'd have you consider and have it be okay, those things that maybe are fearful for you. Just include those. And when you do, your voice and your own authentic voice and how you speak to people and how you respond to people will be loud and clear to them. And you'll find a success that has nothing to do with how hard you're pushing or saying the right thing. It's more about being real. That's what I got for you this morning. It's Monday Mindset. Have a fabulous rest of your week. You absolutely deserve it. Bye for now, guys.